Now, if you ever hear the words, I'm not as bad as those people coming from the alcoholic in your family, you realize that you have a very big problem. And it's become because they're not taking any culpability. And usually they'll say it in comparison to maybe a friend or a relative or somebody, some story. In my case, my wife used to say it when we went to the outpatient rehabilitation facility. She had at the time she had a court ordered 6 month stay because she had gotten 4 DUIs. She'd actually been incarcerated for the second time for 65 days, and then she had to go to an outpatient court ordered rehab facility in town, and she had to be there up to 8 hours a day. And then every Thursday, I remember this place, I would go with her because they would have a family night. And then somebody would get up on stage and tell their story. And I remember this one story that this particular girl told, and she was a younger girl, she's probably in her early 20s, and she had been drinking since she was like 15 or 16. She had had some trauma in her life, and she had tried to commit suicide a couple times by taking medications, and she had been incarcerated because she had gotten a car accident and hurt some people with a DUI, and some other things. And Amanda's only reaction to that was, "Well, gosh, I feel good now. I'm not as bad as that." And I would just go, "Really?" And the point of this video is not to bring out the obvious. And the obvious is that somebody has a mental health illness. If they're not able to recognize that culpability and that accountability in their own life. I mean, at this point, my wife was saying, I'm not as bad as that person. Why? Because you only tried to kill yourself once and she tried to kill herself twice because you have 4 DUIs and she actually hurt somebody. That's the difference. I mean, you have to recognize that you're on a path of complete destruction, and you're already well into it. That lack of awareness is a serious red flag. If you have anybody in your family who ever says anything remotely in that area, where it's deflection, it's denial, and it's gaslighting, anything with that kind of general attitude, you have a very serious problem on your hand, and you're going to have to double down and recognize that as a family member. You're going to have to take precautions, and that means you're going to have to set boundaries in your life so that alcoholic in your life knows that they can't cross them, and whatever they do, it's not going to bleed into your life and into your emotional health as well as a family member. And I'll never forget when she said that. I'm not as bad as those people. And there was other people that had gotten up on stage and talked. And I looked at her and I just kind of later I talked to her because they used to start every meeting during the family night with there was a picture board in the back of the room, and everybody that had passed away that had attended this particular location in the last few years, they put a picture up. It was a chalkboard or a cork board, and they had put the pictures of the people that had passed away. Families had brought in a picture of their family member, and I looked at my wife and I go, I really hope someday you're not on that board, okay? Because if you have that general attitude, that's where you're headed. She got upset with me. I'm like, well, this is a reality, okay? You're in an outpatient facility 8 hours a day, 4 DUIs, 5 rehabs, and you still have an attitude like this is all below you. Okay, this is an attitude for self destruction. This is an attitude of failure. And this is not an attitude that anybody who's going to recover from alcohol use disorder can have. And I understand what a deep dive that you can get into when you're a late stage 3, stage 4 alcoholic. But family members have to be aware of this general attitude. I'm not as bad as those people. The thing is, if you are an alcoholic and you do go to an AA meeting or a Smart Recovery or Women for Sobriety or some, local outpatient facility, and your general attitude is, I'm not as bad as those people. I hope you can recognize that and understand and look inward and realize that, yeah, you are as bad as those people, but that don't look at it like that way. Look at it like, I don't want to be where that person is. That's not the direction I want to go. and I need to do something about it. At least have the awareness to realize that you need to do something about it, and that means double down, bond with the people in that group, get an accountability partner, and get to work. Work on yourself every day through exercise, creativity, shore up your relationships and everything you need to do. And remember, it's one day at a time, so then you can truly be not as bad as those people. And I really hope this kind of awareness, I'm not as bad as those people, resonates with just not only the alcoholic, but also the family members. And again, I have a complete coaching program. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. Link is in the bio. You can set up a Zoom call. It takes about 45 minutes. We do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. I really want to find people who are really ready and committed to change their lives, because I've helped thousands of alcoholics, and just as importantly, I've helped their families. The call is free. The course is definitely not, but we have lots of different options for people who want to change their lives. And again, thanks so much for listening.